Good evening, everybody. My name is Adam Simmons, the Chief Strategy Officer here at Radix, and very pleased to say joining me for this Radix recap is none other than Radix CEO, Andy. Andy, how are you doing this afternoon?
Busy, man, busy. But good, thank you. Good.
I know the feeling of being busy, as I know quite a few in the community probably are. Apologies for anyone listening in live from X as we're going out live. Of course, you may be listening as well on Spotify or YouTube afterwards. But the big news and why we're a few minutes late is because Hyperlane is now live on the Radix mainnet, which is a big deal, Andy.
It is a big deal. It is a big deal. And amazing. I mean, I was thinking about this just the other day. We went to consensus with, the objective of finding ourselves a good bridging solution. And Dan was supposed to be with us, of course, on that trip, and he couldn't make it last minute. And I remember in the morning, like, you took one of the meetings, and I took the other, for particular partners on how we could do this, or could they get us any introductions into our target list of people that we wanted to talk to. And you came back with a sort of smug look on your face, and you're going, "I've got us an intro into Hyperlane." So so kudos to you, because your meeting worked and mine didn't. And it was really off the back of that things moved really quickly. So I can't even remember when consensus was, but um,
It
I'm really
was
pleased at the speed that we've done that
it
in
was at the end of May, because the
June,
first
July, August.
the first
Yeah,
big conversation we had with Hyperlane was at the start of June, and so it was breakneck speed. And I've got to give a massive shout out to the team from Hyperlane who've been working on the Radix integration. They've actually had all of their code done since the pretty much the 1st of August. It then had to go through the audit, which all went very, very smoothly. So that's all been going well. Then they've got everything up and live. It's gone flawlessly. We've been testing it all of this week. And they've just been fantastic to work with, the team over at Hyperlane. So please, Radix community, give them a warm welcome and a lot of affection for the great work they've been doing. I don't know if they want shouting out by name, but those of you from the Hyperlane team who were involved, thank you so much for everything you've been doing on that.
yeah, and also the guys in the community as well. I'm sure you'll mention them in a minute, but they've been working in the background as well, getting everything up and running. And also our team, shout out to them for all the work that they've been doing, and the feedback to Hyperlane, yeah, etc. But yeah, having the promise of a tier one bridge for a couple of years, this is really a significant thing to actually get one over the line. So I'm super excited about that.
Likewise, and speaking of shouting out the community teams and ecosystem builders, exactly. I mean, first and foremost, I've got to give a massive shout out to Teeman from Astroless, and of course, it would
Yeah,
not be a Radix recap without that. But we're actually still waiting. I'm not sure if they've pushed it yet, but the kind of reference interface that Hyperlane use, which is nexus.hyperlane.xyz, isn't actually live on their production environment yet. But Astrolescent have already got it up and running on mainnet, all going smoothly, and so that's why we were able to make the announcement now to get that through. We've had a few liquidity providers also kind of kick this off over the last day or so. So obviously won't
yeah,
name them, but big thanks to those people. So just to give some people a little bit of understanding here, because I've seen some questions in the community of why is there these Hyperlane assets already appearing on mainnet? Why are there pools being created on the dexes and stuff like that? The reason why we preceded some of these and had a couple of liquidity partners precede those is so that now it is live. There's enough liquidity in those pools so that when all of you start bridging over your USDC, ETH, USDT, Ethereum, and other assets when they come, the pools are already set up with enough liquidity in them so that they can't be too far out of alignment too quickly, or a malicious actor can't kind of move the price by a large amount with a small amount of liquidity, and then slippage becomes a problem, and stuff like that. Regardless, I'd still always advise anyone adding liquidity to DEX pools, make sure you're putting them in the right ranges and stuff like that, based on the current prices. But we just wanted to make sure that we had a stable amount of liquidity in all the different pools across Caviar, Aussie Swap, and DeFi Plaza before we publicly announced that Hyperlane is all ready. We were also doing our checks and making sure everything bridging over was going smoothly, which it is, and making sure that it was a polished experience for everyone. So that is all going. It is all set up and running. So there's already been about $1 million bridged over by my quick math of H assets. So the assets that you can bridge at the moment are USDC, USDT, Ethereum, and wrapped BTC. You can bridge those from Ethereum, Arbitrum, Base, and BSC or BNB, depending on how long you've been in crypto. So they're already all set up. They come over on the Radix network as HUSDC, HUSDT, HETH, and HWBTC, respectively. They're the same wrapped assets, no matter which destination chain you sent them from. So that keeps things nice and tidy there. We're going to be adding more as well. So this is just kind of the launch batch, but we're gearing up with the Hyperlane team to launch Solana next. So that'll likely be towards the end of next week, with native Sol and also wrapped assets, so like USDC and stuff coming over from there as well. And because Hyperlane is fully permissionless and trustless, anyone can actually deploy warp roots. So after that, we'll be deploying additional warp roots to coincide with kind of pushes on the Radix rewards campaign, and to bring more things in over time. And we'll be doing that steadily over the kind of coming days and weeks. So expect to see more routes come through, more chains supported, etc. But from a technical level on the Hyperlane side, that is all done. So very, very exciting.
Yeah. It's. I mean, we live in the Radix world, right? And you and I have been doing quite a bit on the Hyperlane stuff, and you sort of forget how clumsy and kludgy it is, MetaMask and blind signing and all of, and then waiting for the transactions to move across. It's like oh. And then you do it on the Radix side, and it's so much easier, so much nicer to do. But yes, we've been doing plenty of testing and plenty of bridging on that, or I have anyway, and it seems to be working really well.
100%. And for anyone wondering, generally speaking, at least this is my observed experience of this, typically when you're bridging across, you're looking at about 2 to about 7-8 minutes or so between sending assets in and them coming out the other side, give or take. So don't panic if you don't instantly see something bridge across. Obviously, of course, if it's your first time using a bridge or something like that, always, as with anything DeFi related, we always suggest it is good practice to do a test amount first, just to make sure you're comfortable with it and it all works as intended. But it's a really nice experience. And of course, Astralescent have done a beautiful job with their front end and supporting the bridge as well. So great work again there.
We noticed today, I think it was it USDC that took longer than like USDT was quite quickly, but USDC I think took a while. Not quite sure why. But one definitely took longer than the other.
Yeah, and it depends on the network you're coming from as well. So that can impact things too. But hopefully that'll all go nice and smooth. Andy, am I the right volume for you? Because I've got some people saying that I'm quiet. Oh no, apparently we're all quiet. You sound perfect to me. Do I sound okay to you?
Yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean.
Well, I mean, if I can hear you normally and it doesn't sound like you're quiet to me or you, it is either X being a little bit weird, or if it's both of us, perhaps that person needs to turn up the volume on their side. But yeah, I don't think it's us. But anyway, I know you don't have long, Andy, so we should power through.
I'm really sorry about that.
No worries. So the next one is, do you want to give everyone kind of an update on XH Swap and what, like the Instabridge timelines and stuff that they announced a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, so I think Instabridge timelines are as they said. So I think they're expecting to close the bridge on Monday in and around 10 o'clock in the morning. The XH swap, uh, I've been working with those guys today. They if you go on XH swap, you'll see assets in there at the moment. Please don't try and do anything on there just yet. I I I know that they're working with the Instabridge guys at the moment for the burning of the component, the X assets. So there's a small amount of H assets on there. In fact, if you try at the moment, it won't work. But there's a small amount of H assets on there. Um, and they are for testing purposes of putting X assets in, getting the H out, and burning the X's. And I've just seen from Ed and Artem that they've they needed the H assets, sorry, in order to then be able to do the bit that they now need to do on the burning side. And I've seen that that's just been done. So. Um, there needs to be some tests done to make sure that it actually all works as it should. That being the case, that will more H assets needs to go in so people can then bridge. If but obviously there's a finite amount of underlying X assets, so some will be deployed into XH swap, and some will stay on Instabridge until Instabridge closes. So the idea is then that any residuals get migrated via the foundation into the entity that's then putting them into the XH swap. So that should be fully populated on Monday, but it'll have a reasonable amount of assets in it if people want to do over the weekend, subject to this testing going okay.
So to read that back, Andy, to try and summarize quickly, XH Swap is currently live. People can go and see it, but we're asking, or the XH Swap team are asking that is not used yet because they are currently testing it. But from our side, once they're all ready, good to go, we'll put an announcement out. But over the weekend, it'll only be some of the underlying X assets, so you won't be able to swap everything potentially. But after Monday, when Instabridge formally shuts down, then the remaining amount will be on there, and you'll be able to swap one-to-one X assets to H assets through that.
Yeah. I mean, if you got small amounts, it's probably fine. But if somebody's sat with $1 million of USDC or something, probably best to either put that over Instabridge over the weekend, or wait until sort of Tuesday when there should be enough assets in to be able to cope with that. I don't know. I haven't what the final sort of asset transfer will look like at the moment. But whatever's there will get moved across.
Awesome. So with Hyperlane now live, that was the only blocker to getting Radix rewards live. So this is now the next bit of very exciting news, is that Radix reward will be live at exactly midnight UTC on Monday the 8th, which is this Monday coming. So the team is busy squirreling away and have been all of today, making sure that the Radix Rewards program supports all the new DEX pools, and as long as Weft and Root support the deposits of all of the new H assets as well, they'll be included in there for the start, which means that if you want to start earning points in Radix Rewards as soon as possible, make sure that you're already enrolled. You've got your positions bridged over Hyperlane over the weekend. You've put them into the DEX pools, into liquidity pools, and everything else so that you start earning those liquidity points from exactly midnight on Monday. You can enroll and link all of your accounts by going to incentives.radixdlt.com. And from there, it guides you through all of the process. On Monday, we will also put up all the things that are being rewarded. That's being worked on over the weekend, so you'll be able to see those. The earn page, the leaderboard, and everything will all go live at that point as well. So really exciting time. That is just going to be the initial activities as well. There'll be obviously a blog announcement going out. We'll probably put that out on Sunday evening, just announcing all the details around season 1 and everything happening there. So no need to panic, but yeah, get your positions in. And then of course, from exactly midnight UTC on Monday, that is the point where trading as well will start earning you points and everything else. And remember, you must have at least $50 worth of XRD in your linked account to earn any points. And the more XRD that you hold or have deposited in either staked as LSUs or in LSU LP or deposited in the different dApps, basically any of the pools we support, if you put XRD in any of those dApps and most of the pools we support there, that'll be counted towards your multiplier. And the more XRD that your linked accounts own, the higher your multiplier on all the points you earn as well, up to a cap of 3x. If that's confusing, there's an ELI5 blog on the Radix website. We've got a ton of stuff planned up for that as well. So, Andy, I don't know if you want to say anything about that. Otherwise, I'll rattle on with my normal spiel about Radix rewards.
No, please, you rattle on.
So, the most important thing to know about Radix rewards is the way that you earn points. So you earn points by doing activities in the Radix DeFi ecosystem. So initially, that's providing liquidity to the supported pools on Caviar 9, Aussie Swap, and DeFi Plaza. H assets are supported there from day one, so that's going to be kicked off there. X assets will earn the points at the same speed as well, so don't feel like if you've got X assets positions that you've got to get rid of them to earn points. They're counted the same. So if you've got, for example, providing USDC liquidity on one of the dexes, you earn the same points from the same points pool for either XUSDC or HUSDC. It makes no difference to Radix rewards. Secondly, you earn points by things like trading, lending, and a whole bunch of other stuff around there. And you earn your multiplier by the XRD amounts. So you earn those points all through the week. And then at the end of the week, so 23, 59, 59, 59, 59, etc. On the Sunday night, the system then basically calculates all of your multiplier for the week average, all of the points you've earned compared to everyone else in the different categories, does some cool math that you don't need to worry about, that then calculates how many season points you get, which are then multiplied by your XRD multiplier to give you your points for that week. If that sounds complicated, again, read the ELI 5, but the simple way of doing this is just do a bunch of stuff on the Radix DeFi ecosystem, hold as much XRD as you can, or LSUs or LSU LP, or deposit them into DEXs and money markets, and you will get the most points each week. So that is kicking off. The most important thing for everyone to remember, though, is if you want to earn points in Radix rewards and part of that 1 billion XRD pool, then you must enroll. So you have to enroll your accounts. So if you have not done so already, incentives.radixdlt.com, connect your wallet, link all your accounts up so that you start earning points from the moment it goes live at midnight on Monday. Right, final update from the foundation side. I know it's something that was asked a question. I believe it was Felix who actually chased this up. And Andy, you're going to have to explain this one, because I said to Felix after I spoke to you that this should be done by the end of the week, but we had a few things come up, haven't we?
Are you talking about unstaking with the
twin stake and Brevin Howard notes?
Twin stake notes.
Yep.
Yeah. So Dan said we were going to do this. We planned to do this a while ago. We had some issues with some access issues, basically, that we were trying to resolve, which we then got resolved. Then, of course, Dan passed away, and there's still a permission issue, which I've escalated today, and that should be done and resolved. Well, it's not going to get done over the weekend, but early next week, as soon as the permission's there, we can hit the unstake button. So any day now, the final blocker that I had, and I've still got, is not the ability to be able to hit the unstake button, but we'll have that next week.
It is high on our priority list.
Dan's login has that. Yeah, Dan's login has that ability, but mine doesn't.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's something we did want to get sorted sooner, as Dan communicated, but hope everyone understands the situation with Dan has complicated that. And also, we've had quite a few spinning plates with Hyperlane and Radix awards and things like that, and trying to herd cats, which is one of my favorite sayings over the last couple of weeks, is getting that all in place. So it is something we're aware of. We know there's a lot of community demand for that, so we are on it. Andy is spinning potentially even more plates than I am. So it is being done. So that is hopefully on the cards for early next week. Andy.
Yes, I don't see why it shouldn't happen early next week. I really don't. I did want it to get done today, and I did raise a ticket on it today. But it isn't going to get done today.
Which, I mean, I'm someone who will always try and find the silver lining on these things. It's a good sign, because ultimately it is an awful lot of XRD. And so having really robust custody and security systems in place is very important, but does mean that when we're trying to do things like this, it can slow things down, as there are quite rightly the correct things in place to make sure that it cannot be done accidentally or by the wrong people.
Yeah. It needs multiple people, and we don't. I'm one of them, and I don't have the buttons that I need. So as soon as I do, then the final thing can happen.
Right, Andy, that is the end of my list of things that are foundation side updates. I know you need to go. Is there anything else that you had on your list, or anything you want to say before I start going through the ecosystem updates, and then you can drop if you need to?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is make sure get yourself signed up to Radix Rewards if you've not done it. It's, do it for your weekend project. Get yourself there, get all your accounts connected, and once again, big thank you to everybody getting their Hyperlane stuff, and the team getting the incentives already. I know Dan would be very proud that we've managed to do that and get it out. I know it wasn't quite as he wanted the end of the month, but man, it was close. So yeah, congrats to everybody. Sorry, I need to drop now. It's first week back in school for the kids, and they've got activities of different days and times and all the rest of it. And I didn't realise I was on pickup, so I've got to drive across the island to do that now. Otherwise, I'd have happily stayed.
Well, thank you very much for jumping on. I will dash through all of the ecosystem updates, because I also need to get on with some stuff. It's going to be a busy weekend. The team on the Radix Foundation side, we're doing a whole load of stuff on the incentives. I've been herding cats today as well, getting all the Hyperlane stuff ready to go and doing all the testing there. So we need to get all of that polished up. So it's going to be a working weekend, as always in crypto, for many of us. But I'll quickly go through the ecosystem updates, because these are key. But Andy, drop off when you need to. So
okay, thank you. And thanks, Tim, man. Nice to see you the other day as well. And thanks for the work on Astra Lesson. That's looking great. Take care, guys. Bye.
So on the ecosystem update side, first up, we've got Radix charts. So they have just finished migrating their entire platform to Next.js with a MUI integration as well. Astra Lesson, other than creating the front end and getting it live ready for Hyperlane at the moment of launch, they've also created a meme coin creation tutorial where Astra, their AI avatar, walks you through launching tokens on really.fun. The Machinist, who of course hosts the Radix review that's a few hours after this space and is the biggest community X space for Radix, has had some more episodes of that going through, and he had Liberant of Radix Wiki on talking about Caper Network. And Caper Network have also announced that they're building on Radix and they're launching a DAO launchpad. And the purpose of that is to solve many of the issues that Web3 organizations have, like governance attacks and liquidity fragmentation and voter fatigue and all those sort of things, using some pretty innovative solutions to bonding curve economics and vote weight mechanisms, which is awesome. So I do highly recommend checking that out. You can find that on X on caper_network. Make sure you go and check out their announcement. Other bits of news is that Notix, of course, from Avant, has crossed the 100 user mark. Notix is awesome. If you haven't used it, it is really cool. Basically, it is a push notification service for on-chain events. He has also been doing a fantastic job because he's already got that supporting all of the H assets, with them being in Notix when there's new mints occurring, new liquidity deployed and stuff like that. He's been powering those announcements out during the day. So congratulations, Avant, on that. On Beam side, Beam and Atos Earn have now set up showing incentivized pools directly in their strategy section. So that's the pools that are included in Radix rewards. So you can easily see those there. And last but not least, Avant has also launched something that I'm really excited about, which is Atomics. Now, Atomics is on StokeNet currently, and I might be mistaken here, but is either one of or the first use case of subintents that has been created. So subintents was the headline feature update to the Radix protocol back in November last year. It was December it actually went live. It was issued for an update in November, but actually was enacted by validators in December. Is a way that you can send a partially signed transaction onto other wallets, so that if certain conditions are met and they sign it, then it is atomically resolved. So the key use of Atomics is things like P2P trading. So through the Atomics webpage on StokeNet, you can go in and say, for example, let's say I had a Radical Robot or similar NFT in my wallet, and you can see that. You can sit there and go, hey, I want that. I'm willing to offer you 1 million XRD for it. You can go and do that, sign the transaction, and in a completely peer-to-peer way, that I can then log in and see that you've offered me that, and the transaction will pop up as a subintent. I can then go and sign that, and the transaction will swap straight over the second I sign it, as long as those conditions and requirements are met. So obviously, that's something that could be used for things like NFTs, but it's also a way to do a completely trustless OTC swap, for example. Timon has also called me up that Rippy's NFT collection Terracotta Army was the first to use subintents. I thought there was something that did it, but I couldn't remember. But yeah, Rippy's NFT collection did use it first, but Avant with Atomics are creating a whole dApp around this, and it's super cool. So things like completely permissionless OTC trades is just awesome. There's so many more cool things that I know Avant has got planned there. So make sure you go and check out Atomics. That is the end of my list of ecosystem updates to go through today. I do have to jump relatively promptly because I've got so many things that I need to get sorted with Hyperlane now live and incentives all coming up. So do please make sure that as you log off this evening, as we finish this space, you remember 2 super important things. Firstly, Hyperlane is now live, so you can bridge, once again, USDC, USDT, Wrap Bitcoin, and ETH from Ethereum L1, Arbitrum, Base, and Binance Smart Chain. As of now, you can use the Astralescent frontend to do so and bridge seamlessly that way. And shortly, the Usenexus front end from Hyperlane will also be updated to show the ability to connect your Radix wallet and use those routes, which is nexus.hyperlane.xyz. So make sure you go and check that out. Radix Rewards is going live on Monday, first thing 0000 UTC. So make sure over the weekend you go to incentives.radixdlt.com and enroll in that, and make sure that you get all of your accounts linked. Make sure that you've got as much XRD in there as you can to get a big multiplier, and make sure that you're bridging assets over, deploying any X assets you have, any H assets you have into the supported pools. And as of Monday, start trading and doing all those other fun things, because you're going to start earning points in Radix Rewards from that moment. More details will be on the blog. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. It has been a busy week, but my goodness, is it an exciting time to be part of Radix. We have a permissionless bridge live. We have wrapped assets coming in, and we have a freaking awesome ecosystem that is just waiting for some liquidity and more users. And with Hyperlane and Radix rewards coming, that is exactly what is on the cards. So if you're ever waiting for a moment to start chilling Radix and get engaged, now's that time. Let's make it happen. Let's do it for damn. See you all soon.